Hello and welcome again to Stories Shaped by the Village, Leadership Stories Shaped by the Village Studies. Today we're talking about a cattle herding. Hey, let's talk about what is herding in actual fact. So herding is about bringing the individual cattle or animals together in a group. We call that a herd. It's about maintaining and moving the herd from one place to the other or a combination of the two. It's also about controlling the movement of the livestock under one person. So think of that when you were young. That's essentially what you were doing. Why were you doing it? You were looking at ensuring that there's safety from the predators. In this case, it could be cattle thieves, which is a common thing lately. Also about access to mates, having the cattle around other cattle, which is great. But also, which is critical, was helping them find food. I mean, you were not giving them food. You were taking them to pastures where you believe they could be able to get food. And that's essentially what leadership is all about. People are looking at you to help them find food. People are looking at you as a leader to say, are you helping us get resources? Are you providing the necessary safety in the group or within the herd, if we may use cattle herding as an example? So today I thought deeper. Let's take it a step further. Let's get into the deeper stuff around leadership, because essentially this discussion points are around leadership lessons that we can learn out of that. So now that we all know what herding is, now that we all know that's essentially what a young boy from as early ages as 4 or 5 in many cases were basically doing. So we know they know the fundamentals of leading by just doing cattle herding. That's reality. That's essentially what they were doing. Unaware of that, I think some of those things get built in as you grow older, without someone really asking you, what did you learn from cattle herding? So it comes natural because, it's about bringing cattle, it's about bringing people together. So I thought, let's look deeper into some of the work that has been done around herding. I obviously went to the internet and I found a piece of work that Derek Bailey, he's with the Montana State University in the USA, or he was then because it's quite an old article, that he did for the Hoemang Range Management Society back then. I'm not sure if this organization still exists. I'm sure they still do because the article is dated. But he was talking about the benefits of herding. So what I thought I should do is to pick 5 of those and link them to management. So let's start, or leadership, beg your pardon. So let's just start with the very first one. And I coined that, find out what motivates your team. In his case, he talks about the cows tend to stay where the calves are. So what motivates the team that you are leading today? Critical. The second point is, how do you manage change? As a leader, how do you manage change? Derek Bailey talks about the diffusing moment. So the diffusing moment is basically, as the cattle move into greener pastures, the herder stays with them. So they get used to the environment before moving along. Critical. During change as a leader, you gotta stay with your team. You gotta be there. You gotta ensure that people understand what is happening and that they buy into the change that is happening. The third point, I coined it what is your sustainable leadership level? What are your sustainable leadership lessons? I mean, in his case, he talks about cattle getting used or preferring plants that they used to graze from when they were calves. Critical. So as you're building your team for leadership lessons, what sort of sustainable leadership attributes do you want them to take to the next layer? The fourth point is critical. And I love this because, you have to always be quiet and calm when you lead. Spend more time listening. Derek Bailey talks about headers having an amazing ability to stay calm and quiet as they're heading. So, as you know, they spend a lot of time walking quietly with their head. Think of that as a leader. The fifth one, in conclusion, is you need to avoid breaking your team by applying pressure too early. So in Derek Bailey's point, he talks about, as a header, you need to have the ability to induce your cattle to group themselves in a quiet and orderly herd before moving ahead. Listen to that. Orderly, quiet, before you move into the next head. So don't apply pressures too early. Hey, listen, I hope you enjoyed the story. I certainly did. In my language, I'll be asking you, Murisi Wanjani. We talk about a concept of Murisi Lonene. Murisi meaning a header. So what sort of a leader are you? Can you are you able to apply some of these principles that we've just discussed in here? If not, can you start thinking of where you can potentially apply cattle heading as a concept in your leadership journey? Thank you so much. Thank you for listening. I'll see you again in the next session. Enjoy your day.